All right, welcome to this video and this example where we're going to take a look at how can we use cosine law and manipulate cosine law in order to find an angle measure given three sides to a triangle. Now, you may have gone through this lesson before, you may not have. You'll know that you can find an angle using three sides, but we can't find a side using three angles. So in this case, we have the three sides and we can definitely use cosine law in order to solve. All right, first thing we do, let's take a look at cosine law. We're trying to find angle A, so I'm going to use the A version of cosine law where A squared is on the outside, and then we have cos of A inside that function there on the right-hand side. We need to isolate this value, that A. We want to get it all by itself in order to solve for it. Now, if you're trying to find one of the other angles, we will have to mix around a little bit. We'll have to use the cosine law version that has that angle in it, whether it's A, B, or C. Now, to get A all by itself, we are going to subtract B squared and C squared from both sides, because whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. And that's going to cancel out right there, and we're going to be left with A squared minus B squared minus C squared is equal to negative 2BC times cos of A. All right, that's step one. Step two, that negative 2BC is a grouping of variables and numbers, which is being multiplied to cos of A. We can divide by negative 2BC, but we have to do that same thing on the other side as well. So those two are going to cancel out, become 1. Yeah, not 0, becomes 1. And so cos of A is going to be left by itself. And then we have A squared minus B squared minus C squared over negative 2BC. Now, it's going to be important that you understand that the top is kind of by itself and it should be in brackets. Okay, it's mathematical convention that that's the way it is. So please make sure that you solve the top first, then solve the bottom, then do the dividing. Okay. Last thing that we're going to take a look at, to find angle A, we have to get rid of the cos that's on the angle. So we have to inverse cos, or that second function of cos. And our formula then looks like this to solve for angle A. Let's take a look at the example of how we're going to use it. So I have A, B, and C, and I'm going to plug them in. Now what you're going to notice about this here is the angle that we're trying to find, A, that side length is only in the equation once, and it's always in the front. The other two letters, okay, the B and the C, are in the equation twice. They are the ones being subtracted. If we change to find angle B, then little b is going to be in the front, and A and C are going to be in the equation twice. Okay, so it's another way of writing it out and solving for it. Let's solve for this one right here. So we're going to plug in our three sides. Now remember, B and C go in there twice, okay, on the top and the bottom, and then the A is in the front. Now, when you solve for this, solve for the top, and you'll get negative 7.1875, and there might be more decimal places, might not be. In this case, that's the end. And then solve for the bottom, and I got negative 21. Once you have this, divide and take the inverse cos. Now, we could do it all together as long as you use brackets properly in your calculator, and then do the inverse cos of it, or do the inverse cos before with more brackets. Try it yourself, okay? Try it, see if you get the answer. If you don't, then we have to try something different, or ask me about it. We should get an angle of around 70 degrees, very, very close to 70 degrees, and so we will say that angle A is 70 degrees. Thank you for watching. I hope this has helped you. Have a great rest of the day.